A plant grows from a seed. A seed has a cotyledon, one or two inside it, which is having the reserved, stored food material, I would say. And from that stored material, nourishment is taken for some time, then the leaflets come and the plant starts its own nutrition. This is what takes place when we talk about the germination of plant. This entire process is known as germination, and whenever a plant has to start its growth from seed to a proper sapling, I would say, proper seedling, then it grows into a small plant, very small plant where leaflets originate. That process is termed as germination, and depending on the type of germination, we have three different types, okay. Depending on how this germination takes place, there are two parts in the seed, you know that one there is a radicle and other one is plumule. Now apart from radicle and plumule that you are aware of, that is the part that gives rise to the root and the one that gives rise to the shoot in the embryo respectively. You know, this supposedly I am talking about a dicot seed. This is these are the two cotyledons. There would be a radicle, there would be a plumule. From this plumule there would be origination, there would be origin. This is plumule, so this would give rise to stem, and this is radicle, so it would give rise to the root. This is what we have in germination, that is in terms of embryo I am talking about. This is the reserved food material, this also has a reserved food material. Take the example of a pea plant, supposedly how the pea plant would germinate this way. This would give rise to the shoot and this would give rise to the root. This is what happens, but depending on the type of growth, we have two types of germination. How? Supposedly we are talking with reference to the soil. This is the soil layer. If the seed is beneath the soil, this is the soil supposedly, this is the soil layer. If the seed happens to be beneath the soil, what happens is that this is the point from where there would be origin of the plumule. This would come out and it would give rise to the leaves like this. Then these leaflets, they would do the function and there would be growth of root as well, like this. This is how germination takes place. Now when the germination has to take place, this part that is away from the cotyledon is known as epicotyle, and this part that is down from epicotyle, below the epicotyle near the seed, is known as hypocotyle. Now depending on that whether epicotyle, it is the epicotyle that is growing and giving rise to the stem length, giving increase to the stem length, not rise, that is giving rise to the shoot, and the shoot length is increasing. Whether it is the epicotyle growth or the hypocotyle growth that is responsible, we have two types of germination. One is epigeal. If it is by the growth of epicotyle, it would be epigeal, and if it is by hypocotyle, it would be hypogeal. Before we see what is the difference between the both, what each is, you have to remember that hypogeal growth is faster. In the beginning it stays slow, but later on it becomes faster as the plantlet starts growing. Hypogeal growth is in the condition when there are flooding or the nutrient devoid soil is there. We have hypogeal growth in monocots, or I would say the grasses, and grasses can grow anywhere. That is because of the hypogeal growth that takes place. In case of epigeal growth, it is shown by dicotyledonous plants. Now what happens in the case of epigeal growth? Let's talk about that. This is the soil surface, this is the seed. Just for reference, I told you that the part that is away from the seed, that would be epicotyle, and that which is closer to the seed would be hypocotyle. Now in the case of epigeal growth, what happens is that the seed stays outside the surface, that is soil surface would be below, seed would be there, and this is how the radicle is developing, and there is growth of epicotyle in the beginning. In the beginning epicotyle growth takes place. Also there is one thing, that inside these seeds, when the development is taking place, there are primary leaflets which are present, okay, As soon as the seed is germinating, this is the seed part, there are primary leaflets which are present, the leaves are going to come out and the growth would be from the epicotyle. This part would be growing, so it is epigeal growth, not the hypogeal growth. In the case of hypogeal growth, what you are going to find is that firstly the seed would be under soil, secondly it would be the hypocotyle part, this part that would be growing, and because of it the epicotyle would move further and further. There would be growth that would be from this point, that is hypogeal growth, and this would be the root. So you see this part is growing, that is why the upper part is increasing. Supposedly I have this point, that is the leaflet point. I keep on growing it from the lower part, so it is going to increase. I am increasing this point, I am uplifting this point, that is why it is going upwards. In the other case, the growth takes place like this. It is not the hypocotyle that is growing, it is not the hypocotyle that leads to the growth and development of the shoot, it is the epicotyle that grows. Primary leaflets are already present inside it and the seed is above the ground. In this case, in hypogeal growth, the seed is below the ground. Next thing that you have to remember is that in hypogeal growth, it is the hypocotyle that grows, and because of that hypocotyle's growth, the epicotyle moves further and further, upwards and upwards, and the leaflets show their development once the epicotyle comes out of the soil. In this case, epicotyle is already outside, so the primary leaflets, they develop inside the seed only. They come out and the leaflets are there. Then the hypocotyle develops downwards. It is present over there. The root develops downwards and the hypocotyle does not show any growth. It stays there only. In this case, hypocotyle is growing and epicotyle is moving further. So this first case is hypogeal, while the second case is epigeal. Now we see this epigeal growth in sunflowers, in most of the dicots. In the hypogeal growth, we have the example of grasses, bamboo and rest of the plants. Now grasses have vegetative methods as well, but in case we are talking about a seed germination growth type, it would be hypogeal. Moving further, the last term that we have to get introduced to is viviparity, or the viviparous method of germination. We have this term in animals also, that is, the animals are giving rise to their young ones without the formation of eggs. Okay. In the case of plants, we have certain mangroves. You know what are mangroves? Mangroves are those plants which grow in marshy areas like in delta region. Our Sundarban delta, that is present in West Bengal of India, that is the largest delta, and it is having many mangrove forests in that area. Now such is the terrain of that place that the water is present everywhere. The plants which grow over there, they are submerged in water entire time. Most of the time they would be submerged in water, or rather they are always submerged in water. So what they do is, the one thing is that they have developed the respiratory roots known as pneumatophores, so that the water logging does not take place, one thing. Secondly, they have developed the mechanism of viviparity, where in the case if the seed falls down in that marsh sort of area, it is not going to germinate because it will have oxygen deficiency, and you know oxygen is required for germination. So what these mangroves do is that the seed that is present inside the plant or the fruit, the embryo would undergo development inside that seed only. Okay, the embryo is, you know, that supposedly this is the seed, inside it there would be embryo which has radicle and plumule, or to present it this way, this is plumule, this is radicle, this is the entire seed, this is the seed coat supposedly, and it is located under inside some fruit, and this fruit is located on the tree. Just for reference, I am making this vague diagram. It is present on some tree, and underneath this you are having water, or you can say brackish water, to be very specific. If this falls down, it is not going to germinate. So what the plant does is, this embryo starts growing, the plumule starts growing, the radicle starts growing, they break the seed coat, they come out of the fruit, and what is going to fall down in the water is a new plantlet. So germination has taken place on the parent plant only. That is why it is known as viviparous. Viviparity or the plants are known as viviparous. I am going to repeat it. The germination of the plant or germination of the embryo or germination of the seed, that takes place within the fruit only. How it takes place? That the embryo starts developing inside the seed, it breaks the seed coat, the plantlet that is to grow, it comes out from the fruit and it falls down and grows into a new plant. So this condition is known as viviparity. The most common example of plants which show viviparity are the mangroves. You can quote the example of Rhizophora, Sonoracea. I'll mention them so that you remember. This is part of morphological studies, but we do it over here only because we deal with growths and germination is a part of growth only. So we have seen how 3 different types of germination could take place. One was apigeal, as seen in the cases of dicots, above the soil surface. Other was hypogeal, that was below the soil surface, as seen in the monocots. And the last one is viviparity, that is observed in the mangrove.